There are some things I can do inherently well when it comes to problem solving that I can teach you in a matter of minutes so that you can solve bigger problems more effectively and get better results. I'm Justin Hitt from Inside Strategic Relations, where we talk about critical thinking and problem solving. One of the concepts I'd like to share with you today is called backing out of a problem, where the problem becomes the solution and some kind of ancillary or tangential event eliminates the need to solve the problem. So hopefully I can give you a practical example. Let's say you're in a village and you have food insecurity, clean water problems, and but you do have some basic access to technology. You have a certain amount of knowledge or information. Now this you may relate because many of the folks are subject matter experts and you may have knowledge in an industry and sometimes you ask yourself why don't other people know these things? Well, the problem that you're facing may be solved by helping other people understand the basics of what you know so that they're better prepared to hire you for a service. Now, again, many of the people that are on this newsletter are subject matter experts that are either looking for career advancement, they're seeking out ways to improve their situation as far as being a consultant or a business owner or executive. And this expertise and knowledge is difficult to convey, but it's necessary for the hiring manager or a recruiter or a client to understand. So, backing out of the problem, and the problem, of course, is the not the exposure, but the transforming your knowledge into revenue. We now look at what can we do. So I'm working with somebody in a foreign country and they do legitimately have limited resources. And I've asked them, I said, look, I will pay you to produce a video that teaches me how to do something that you know very well. All I need is a 10 or 15-minute video. I'll put it on one of my podcasts. I'll put it on one of my newsletters. I'll wrap some content around it to see if my audience is interested. Because their problem of food insecurity, not having clean water, and other issues associated with that, nutrition, hunger, that kind of thing, I know how to solve, but I know it's not going to be solved by just giving them money because it could be a scam. It could be they don't use money properly. They may be just asking for money because it's the only possible solution that they know of. And so I said, "Well, do the video." And they said, "Well, I don't have any data. I don't have any I don't have a good video camera." And so what they're doing there is instead of solving a problem, which is how can I find a video camera? How can I record this video? And by the way, this person has the title of a content creator. They are a digital marketer. So the access to these things may not be sufficient. So they could believe that the camera they have isn't good enough. They could believe that they're not comfortable speaking. What we do when we back out of the problem is we document the problem. We write in a list all the excuses, because excuses are really the bigger problem here, all the excuses that are keeping you from doing something. And then we look at the skill set that's necessary to overcome these problems or excuses. And then we, on a third sheet of paper, take massive action. Now I know a lot of you folks will just worry and not take action, but I'm telling you, literally make a list of the problems you face, the challenges, the concerns, the frustrations. This could be a journaling exercise. This could be an end of the day activity just to get those problems out of your brain. You'll often find that some of the things you that are top of mind are more action oriented, so you're worried about needing to do something and so you just can put that worry on a to-do list and then come back to it later. But other things are legitimate. You're concerned about the economy, you're concerned about food security, you're concerned about immediate needs like food and shelter. So you make a little list. Now you might be saying, "Well, Justin, I don't have a pad of paper." Well, for God's sakes, you're listening to a podcast on a digital device. You can use a notepad. You can use something else. It's about creative thinking. It's about understanding the foundations of our concerns. It's about addressing heads on that fear and doing something anyway. So you have this list, and in this case, he's saying he doesn't have a camera, he doesn't have, he doesn't. I'm believing he's not. English is a second language. I'm believing he's not comfortable doing something in English. So my recommendation is to basically use someone else's camera by holding a small workshop in his village where he teaches what he was going to teach me, except to the people in the audience, and ask them, hey, look, I'm going to focus on giving you the very best information I can so that you can grow your own food, because he does have skills. A lot of times, people, when they face problems, they don't believe they have solutions, but that solution is so close to them that they think of maybe the better answers outside. But in this case, this gentleman has skills. And so if he's teaching these skills in an informative and focused session to people in his own community so that they can do the same, now we're addressing the food security challenge. If he's teaching them how to solve a problem that he also faces, and he can be honest, he can say, look, I don't have all the solutions to this, but here's what I know. What else do you know? Now you've got collaboration and partnership. So you've multiplied the resources available to solve the problem. It's also possible that he can say, look, because I'm focusing on giving you the very best information I can about how to have healthy meat in your home and how to solve food insecurity challenges, if you would just please record the session on your phones and then share it with your friends. Now you've got a marketing campaign, because a few people will videotape it so that they can watch it later, and then they can share it on their data plans on their phones with their friends and community. And then you say, look, I know you're going to have questions about these things. And so I'll be more than happy if you'll do this for me, which is to record the presentation and share it on social media. Then I will offer to answer any of your questions in the next workshop. So we'll hold a special workshop just for you to answer your questions. Now, what's happened here? Well, somebody in a third world country, I don't like using that term because what really is a third world country? It's just somebody who claims to be a first world country saying the other person is not as good. But the truth is, humans are humans, and humans all have skills and value. And if we can package these values and help other people solve problems, then many of the things that we want will come to us. So in this case, he would have a video recording, not necessarily one that he could send to me and get paid for, but maybe he could. But he'd also have a small community of individuals. He'd also have the credibility of a third party recording. And so when those people share it, he could send me a link to one of the people who shared, and then I could just download the video. There's so many solutions in this. Now, here's the challenge. Many of my long-term clients and coaching members, this is inherent in the way they look at problems. They see a problem and they write it down, and then they outline what skills that they need to have, not necessarily that they need personally, but skills that are needed to solve the problem. And in this case, it's food security. What do you need? The knowledge to grow gardens and food. Well, what do you need to grow the food? Seeds. Who has the seeds? See what we're doing here? Your car doesn't work. You'd like the car to work. Who can fix the car? What skills are necessary to fix the car? Who has those skills? And then we take action. 3 simple steps. And the reason it becomes inherent is because the more that you practice it, the easier it becomes. You don't need to write an essay about the problems you face. You can just make a list. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we need to do it. And here's the action we're going to take. Now, what you need to do it is not always aligned with what is actually necessary to do the problem, because this individual thinks they need money or a better camera or better tools. And I don't know if you felt that way. You want to get into podcasting because podcasting is a great way for a subject matter expert to build an audience, and then within that audience, build consulting and career opportunities. But now you're watching videos about what cameras do you need and what tools. You don't need any tools. Just pull out that phone and get started. None of my audio or video or content is polished. It doesn't have to be, because I'm looking for individuals willing to take action, not individuals that have excuses and want to procrastinate. And then what I try to do is help you convert the excuses into action so that you can build up the resources that you need to solve the problems that you face. Now, this is not a system that you have to be biologically able to use. It came to me through my dad being a Marine. And he'd very often say, so we'd send us out on tasks in the yard, picking up rocks in the yard or mowing the grass, and he wouldn't accept an excuse when we couldn't get the grass mowed. He'd come home from work after working what I understand to be a hard day's work. I've even gone to work with him to see what his days are like. And he comes home and he says, grass is not mowed. He's not looking for why I didn't mow the grass, because his expectation was the outcome and result. Now, it's easy to be that way with other people and to hold other people accountable and with high expectations of what other people should do. But when you turn that back on yourself, you actually get things done. Because when I go out there and mow the grass, what I found out is that even if I stomp the mower, even if I put water in the fuel tank, even if I crash the mower into trees, no matter what I did to that mower, he's going to fix that mower and send me back out to mow the grass. It was actually easier to simply just mow the grass and get the work done and be done with it than it was to find reasons and excuses why I couldn't mow the grass. And what this taught me over time was is that I didn't mind mowing the grass, but I wanted to get paid for it. So my father wasn't certainly going to pay me because of course he's having all these expenses associated with maintaining the mower. I'd run the mower over rocks, I'd run the mower over stumps, I crashed the mower into stuff, and he just kept fixing it. So he's got a lot of expenses associated with this. But again, he's going to teach me a lesson. He's a little bit stubborn. And the lesson I learned is that mowing isn't that bad if you just do it, but I'd much rather mow and get money for mowing. And I wasn't going to get that at home. So I asked, can I take the mower and mow other people's yards? Because I went up, knocked on the door, and can I mow other people's yards? And yes, I could mow other people's yards. And I get 20 bucks for mowing a yard, 30 bucks for mowing a yard. And that was enjoyable. Now, interesting enough, my dad said, well, maintaining a lawnmower is expensive and fuel costs are always going up. Isn't that the way? And so I shared my earnings with my parents who would drive me to different places to mow. But the point of it is it became an enterprise rather than being an excuse. It became a solution rather than being an excuse. Now I still mowed my own lawn at the house, but we ended up getting a riding lawnmower because after a while I could demonstrate I wasn't going to wreck the mower up all the time. And it's entirely possible he thought I was a complete idiot for running the mower into trees and running it over rocks and stuff like that. But he was patient and he was asked questions and helped me learn that mowing wasn't that bad. Now, I forget these lessons sometimes. And when I was a young kid mowing, I figured out that I can get paid to mow the neighbors' yards. And when I was a teenager, I still was aggressive with the mower and figured out that he's just going to keep fixing the mower. Not that he liked fixing the mower, but if I was going to learn the lesson, again, the lesson is that the problems always exist. But the difference between someone who gets results and someone who keeps problems is the resources, the knowledge, the transformation of information that helps you turn excuses into outcomes. And now you've got an idea what the outcome you desire is. I wanted to get paid to mow the grass. This gentleman wants to have food security. We can now focus on the actions that create those outcomes. So I've asked him to send me a video. I don't care if he films it. I don't care if his local news station films it. I don't care if it's a crappy looking video. I'm going to give him $5 to create a 10 to 15-minute video explaining something that I've been able to confirm he has a credible outcome. He knows how to do it. And so he all he's got to do is the video. That's it. Now on my side, I don't have to worry about it anymore, but it hasn't been a source of content because I'm not quite sure why he hasn't figured this out yet. But again, I'm coaching him, I'm working with him, I'm giving him ideas and concepts. I want to do the same for you. Now, you don't necessarily have to be a coaching client because we have an application process and not everybody gets accepted. I mean, coaching clients are really for people who have a high income, they want to transform into wealth, or they have a business, they're a business owner or an executive, and they want to get to that next level of recognition, authority, or even performance in their organization. But I can coach you through this podcast to say to you, it's 3 simple pieces of paper. And you can do this in a journal or in your in like an engineering notebook. It's outline the problems. You don't have to do 10 pages. You can do 1 page. Just list the problems that are the biggest problems you have. Outline or list the resources you need or desire or even what you believe might be necessary to help solve that problem. And then we ask the rational question, what can we do today? What can we do right now? And what you'll often discover is the solution to your problems is within the definition of the problem itself. It's the understanding of the root cause and then ultimately doing something. Now, are you always going to do the right thing? Not necessarily. Is the problem always going to go away in a timely fashion? No, I've had some problems that keep going on for like 4 years and it's not getting solved. But then again, are all problems worth solving? See, there's a context here that goes into what is it that you want? What is it that you're looking to create? Now, we've got resources on the website at www.jwhco.com. There is a catalog there with a bunch of resources we put together. At the main website, www.insidestrategicrelations.com, we got a free newsletter with more resources, but you don't need more resources to solve the problem. The main fact that you can identify, define, and prioritize your problems can help you start eliminating those problems, whether it's financial, whether it's a lack of influence, whether it's not being seen by the right people who can hire you. No matter what the problem is, there are solutions nearby. Now, you're not going to necessarily solve the problem individually. Okay, and let me explain that before we wrap it up. The typical solution that I find has the longest, the longevity and the power and the scale is to not try to do it yourself. It's to work with somebody or to build a team or to organize resources to work as a collaborative to solve the problem. Not a not a we're going to democratically decide what to do, but basically enroll people that have the skills that you don't have to either learn from them or to have them do the work rather than you trying to do everything yourself. There isn't another tool to buy, there isn't another book to read, there isn't anything to get you started other than to list the problems out, identify the resources, and do something that moves you towards a desired outcome. Now, later along the line, yes, you may need to buy resources, but you'll have more context to know what training program, what coaching program, what tools, what software, what management company, what marketing agency, what new idea or concept that you need to learn. And you'll be able to ask valid questions that, and I mean, validity is in your own mind of benefit. And so you'll stop spinning your wheels, you stop wasting time, and you'll start moving faster towards the outcomes you desire. I'm Justin Hitt with Inside Strategic Relations, where we talk about how to transform business relationships into profits guaranteed. The problems you face today, solutions exist. They may not be in your grasp right now, but they are much closer than you can imagine. There are solutions out there that we can help you solve, but the main problem we want to make sure you can cover is to position yourself in a marketplace with authority so that you can transform business relationships into profit. Everything you desire in life, somebody has it and can bring it to your doorstep. What I've talked about today here helps you clarify, identify or narrow the scope, and then ultimately get the action you're looking for. Thanks for listening. Again, if you have questions, visit www.insidestrategicrelations.com. Go to the contact page where you can ask your questions. And then we have free newsletters, podcast archives, a membership program, all kinds of resources so that you can get started right now moving towards the outcome you desire. Again, I'm Justin Hitt. I'm a strategic relations consultant with lots of years of experience and the ability to help you solve complex problems in a profitable way. I want to thank you for listening and being a part of what we do, and I look forward to your questions.